I'm Oliven Yasso. I work for Anglicare South Queensland as the Cultural Capability Facilitator. I've just started in February this year. My people are from the Iman Nation of Taroom and Upper Dawson River, and on my mother's side we're from the Bowen region. I also have Australian South Sea Islander heritage that goes back to Vanuatu, Tanna Island. For me, reconciliation, I struggled with it purely because my dad, when it first came out, he'd say, no, there's a process before it. There's a process before it. We're not at the stage of reconciliation. So yes, reconciliation does need to happen, but there's the first parts first. There has to be that recognition that something had happened, or that we were actually present. Because I think even up to that time, it was we were like this hidden history of Australian history. So for him, it was about recognizing we were here, that bad stuff did happen, and people going through that process of having just genuine remorse, because you can't come and say sorry unless you genuinely are sorry. Where for him, reconciliation was about that coming together. Once you've went through that process, it's that coming together and going, okay, let's walk together. You can't get there until you've gone through the other process. So for me now, reconciliation is about, I suppose the statement I use quite often is from Leela Watson. She credits it to the activist group Brisbane Blacks, but it's, if you're here to save me, then you're wasting my time. But if your liberation is entwined and caught up with mine, then let's walk together. And to me, that's the first steps, which will get us to reconciliation. Anglicare creating this role and taking that courage to take the journey is a really huge step towards reconciliation. There's a lot of good stuff that has already been happening before I came on board, such as the Child and Family Services team. They're doing some great work. We've got some cultural liaison officers that's just come on board, so they'll be used as consultants and navigators for the team to navigate the cultural Aboriginal Cultural Islander space. So cultural competency, there's levels, and the first level is awareness. So that's awareness and knowledge. So awareness is about not only being aware of Aboriginal Torres Strait Islander people, history, culture, but it's also being aware of one's own cultural impacts on the other. And then it goes into cultural sensitivity. So that's about the behaviour, the being, like being a little bit more aware, gaining the awareness and knowledge again of where we may sometimes be not so sensitive in our approach. And I always go back to a statement one of my good friends always says, and I'm misquoting him a little bit, but he says, people say, oh, you should treat people the way they should be treated. But what if the way you like to be treated is offensive? And how are you going to know if you're treating them in a good way or the way they'd like to be treated until you ask them? So that's, for me, that's my sort of take on cultural sensitivity. It's about, finding out and being aware of that, of where we can be a little bit more sensitive in regards to our approach and engagement with Aboriginal Torres Strait Islander people. And then your next level is the cultural competency. So that's getting the skills and capabilities to work with Aboriginal Torres Strait Islander people. So it's about learning how to engage, how to, like I keep talking about, first principle is Aboriginal Torres Strait Islander people should always be involved in all levels of the decision making. So it's about getting the skills to know how to do that. And quite often it's about actually talking to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, engaging with them, reflecting, finding out, you know, you know, after you've engaged, reflecting and going, did that work? How did I go? Maybe ring them, and say, what was that okay? It's a two-way learning process, and the more you engage, the more your competency levels increase. And then that leads. Then the other part, the top part, is embedding. So that's about looking at our systems, our just policies, procedures, the whole facet of the organisation, and ensuring that it's culturally appropriate, the language we use, the way we do it, that there's no barriers for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people to engage in either the system, the process, or the organisation. Would be where Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, again, are included within all areas of our organisation. When they come here, they feel safe, that they feel included, that they are genuine, that authenticity of, really wanting them to be here, not, we've just got to do this to tick a box. What else would it be? I think also really looking at the history and looking at where Anglicare can maybe play a role in healing the wounds of the past, however that may be, and having really, really good relationships, trusted relationships that's built on mutual respect. I think they're some of the key ingredients to getting there. Because if you're creating culturally safe spaces or an environment you're going to attract more Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, not only as employees but also as consumers, clients, partners, and people who want to be a part of the Anglicare story.